Forgive me, for I am just trying to make everything looks nice. Oh man, that sounds awful. What? One sec. Is that any better? Best. No, it's not. It's not worse. Okay, how's that? Ugh. Yeah, I know it's a little stuttery. I'm working on that right now. Okay, how's that? Oh, that sounds so much better. Okay. Yeah, I know it's a little stuttery. I'm working on that right now. Alright. Okay. Okay, allow me 1 more minute to just get this out. Yep. Okay. I think that will do. Alright. So, in watching previous Deltarune videos, I've realized that through my many playthroughs, I have missed and had to backtrack to get other stuff so many times. I don't want that. I don't want to... I have done this, and that's just because I didn't want to go all the way back, but I don't want to keep having to go into like a save editor or something just to get myself items or whatnot that may prove useful or required to get the best ending for Deltarune. The last thing I want is to touch any weird route junk. I don't want to miss a single recruit. I want to get everything and ensure a good ending. I care way too much about this game to just say, oh no, I'll just save editor it later and hope I don't mess anything up. No, I don't want to keep doing that. Yeah, the good thing about Chapter 5 is that I was away from any way to play this game with my my past save files due to the fact that I was out of the country. It was a very fun trip. But I had the leisure of being able to look online after a little while after the chapter's release and figure out how to get to that secret boss fight in Chapter 5. And with a guide / flags in an editor that I have right to my left, I will make sure to do everything. I want a genuine, full playthrough of Deltarune with everything fully, completely legit, no matter how long it may take me. Because with my skills, I should be able to get through everything. Even the Roaring Night fight. I will work my ass off to get S rank in Chapter 3's minigames to be able to do the full, like, backstage area, just to do everything. No editing, no cheating. I've done 95% of this game's, like, good route stuff legit. So I want to start fresh and do it completely legit. Sar, if you find a way to donate me $2, you can donate me $2. I don't know if you can do that. But let's start fresh. Also, for the record, I'm going to be skipping most of the dialogue in the main story because I've already seen it before. I want to do everything in a timely manner. Also, forgive me because I might not see your chat immediately. Because this is on OBS Studio, not Streamlabs, because Streamlabs is not on Linux. Yeah, if there's something I respect, it's a job or playthrough, in this case, done right. Yeah, because, again, I did Jevil, I did Spamton, I did Gerson, I did Chapter 5 Secret Boss. All fully legit. It's just the Roaring Night and getting to S rank is so difficult that I completely skipped it and save editored it. But since I've beaten all of Chapter 5, the only thing I haven't done there is the eggs. And I don't think I have it all in one playthrough. So in order to do that, I need more water. So in order to do that all, I think it's best if I just start from scratch. Alright, actually, give me a second. I need to go get some water. I'm low. And if I'm gonna be talking a lot, I'm gonna be very dehydrated. Full water bottle. Snacks. I'm not gonna eat this sunflower seeds because I know you guys don't want to hear crunching the entire goddamn stream, and I don't want to hear it either if I go to trim this, which I actually do want to do because I have recorded and uploaded a playthrough of chapters 3 and 4 separately, and I have streamed chapter 1 and 2 before, but not like this. Those are just regular playthroughs. This is a full-on 100% good route, or good route 100%. Same, aren't they? Not really, but I guess. Oops, Steam overlay is on. I don't care. It doesn't matter. At least not to me. I guess. Well, I picked A in my original file, but I don't care. What color does it like the most? Red, because red and yellow make orange, and I like orange. Please give it a gift. Kindness, mind, ambition, bravery, and kindness. As honestly as I can. Yep. And here it is. Okay. Will now be discarded. No one can choose who they are in this world. Your name is Chris, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. Alright, let's do this from the beginning. From the top. Yeah. Stained. Yeah. Okay. It's only you. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think Toriel's even here. Hey, Tenna. How you doing? Oh boy, the group project, the thing that like everybody forgot. How's the audio, by the way? How am I compared to the game? Egg! Okay. Oh boy, I had to partner like a cowboy. Boy. I love that he turns his head like a freaking owl. Yeah, go ahead. Yep. And here's Susie. Yeah, like I said, I'm just a little quiet, but okay. Then I will turn down the game and turn myself up. Boop. All right. When we get music, let me know how it is. Wait a minute. That locker has a light blue heart and knives on it, and some red. Is this some stupid, dumbass foreshadowing for Chapter 5? Because, like, could you imagine? Like, was this in the original patch? I don't remember. If it was, then... If it was, then it is a, foreshadowing to, Chapter 5, because it's the 5th locker. That would be hilarious. Yeah, no, but like I said, I'm going to speedrun this. I'm just here to prepare for the best ending. Actually, no, I don't. Well, I don't know if there's a flag. I'll just do Z and X. Yeah, no, I forget how much I like the dialogue. And the first chapter isn't really that long anyway, so it's not like it matters. Actually, I don't even know if we're gonna get to... Because, like, well, I don't know. Depends on how long this takes. Will we do chapter 2 tomorrow? Who knows? Will we do it today? Who knows? I don't know. Did I get here fast enough to... No, I did not get the glow shard. Okay, whatever. Actually, how do I even... How do I even get the glow shard? Purchase me. Caramel hardened candy. What? Oh, no, this... I think that was just something else. There we go. I like Susie from the start. Yeah, purchase me. Caramel hardened candy. No, not my thing. And there's Lancer. Obviously, spoilers for the entire game. Specifically, not the weird route. I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Let's get that glow shard, though. just close out of this because I don't need this anymore. Config. Full screen on. Don't need that. Okay. Can we get Chapter 1 credit for the mystery vibes, though? Yeah, totally. Yeah, like, it really played up everything. It was really fun. Hey, Susie. Alright, let's get moving. Oh, Chris just auto runs here. I didn't even know that. Ah! I tried to do no hit. Also, the reason why I put question mark in the title, like, for the best ending is because, due to the new image friend lore, I'm not sure if getting the eggs is a good idea or not. But I'm gonna get them anyway, and we'll just hope for the best. Oh, the old, Castle Town. I like the wiggly guys. Do we ever see them again? I think in Chapter 3. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Dang it, Discord. Darn it all. Stop. Man, it really feels like a traditional RPG when you first see the prophecy, and I think that's what Toby meant to do, just and then completely throw us off balance, and then it became like the crazy RPG that we know today. But just going back to it, it doesn't seem like too much, but it has a lot of great setup. Honestly, I prefer chapter 3 and 4 the most because I think it does a lot with so little. Chapter 5, and definitely starting in chapter 4, I'm loving like the emphasis that Toby and Temmie are doing with like all the crazy animations and new stuff. But I think just like the minimal animation in some scenarios really brings a bit of a charm to Deltarune that can only really be done by Deltarune because Toby knows where the cut corners can. I wouldn't say cut corners, but like the little bits that like, oh, don't have this much detail really sort of add to the vibe of the game that I felt like is sort of missing in the later chapters. Chapter 3, Toby was like, you know what, let's make Tenna 3D, and I think that was just really fun because like we've been waiting so long, and we've been like, we had King and Queen for a while, and we were like, and I bet he was like, you know what, let's just shake things up a bit, have a little fun with it. Tenna's a good character regardless of how he was portrayed, so I don't really mind it. And the mystery around the night, I honestly figured we would get it so much, encounter him or it or whatever so much later than chapter 3, and it was good that we got like a quick encounter with the night, and the stakes were immediately like set, which is how we dove into chapter 4. But I think if Toby wanted to wait a little bit more to like actually have us encounter the night, chapter 4 would have been the best place to do that. But because the night was introduced in chapter 3, we got to fight the Titan in chapter 4. Honestly, I don't like chapter 5 as much as probably other people do. I still think it's great, but honestly, I think chapter 4 was like the peak of Deltarune because it still was working with like very little. It had so many years to like perfect, and with chapter 5 coming out the very next year, and it being so long, I feel it was great. All the characters were written spectacularly. But I don't know. I feel like it's just sort of missing a bit of classic Toby charm. If you know what I mean. I will forever love all the chapters in this game, but I think chapter 4 might be my favorite, just because of how much it really plays everything up. With chapter 5, it's that I feel like it really leans into the meta narrative a bit too much. Especially at the very beginning. And I get it. It's supposed to be a, hey, look how far we've come sort of thing. But at the same time, if you're playing these back-to-back, it's like, I mean, yeah, it has been a while, and all the references to the original chapter is great. But also, I feel like it was a temporary regression in some cases. But I'm glad that after all that, it really starts to pick up and form its own identity. I think everybody really realizes what chapter 5 is after that original nostalgia trip. I didn't like that they gave Ralsei her hat back temporarily. Yes, I'm using she, her pronouns, trans, femme, Ralsei, truther. I don't like that they gave Ralsei her hat back, even if it was temporary, because I really felt like that was at the point where it was just, oh, we're leading into this a little too hard. And Flowery was a bit obnoxious at the beginning, but at the same time, I can't really say that's a fault, because I think that was the point. Like, he was all peppy and a little bit dickish and and being a little mean to Ralsei. But, like, that was sort of the point. And, like, around the end, you could really see that he just does care. I saw a good YouTube comment about this once. It was that Flowery was basically the protagonist of his own RPG. And he's just in Deltarune, but doing all that he can to really help his dream thrive. And it would be great if we could bring him to Castletown, but of course we can't do that, at least according to Ralsei. Which sucks. But yeah, honestly, I think thus far, Chapter 4 is my favorite chapter. Chapter 3 and 5 are intertwined. Chapter 1 and 2 are intertwined as well. It goes from like an SA B+ ranking for me. Like, S is chapter 4. It can be a bit long, but it really, really tackles not only Chris's autonomy, the importance of the prophecy and Ralsei, and really explores Dark Fountains, their creation, and its impact. Because we go through technically 3 Dark Worlds. There are 2 Dark Fountains made by the Knight, presumably, and then 1 made by Susie. So technically 3 Dark Worlds, or 1 big Dark World separated into 3 parts, all of which we get a very, very brief break, which is nice, is needed. And again, it tackles the prophecy, the core central part of Deltarune, and all of its factors. So I think that's why it's the best. Chapter 5, it feels like both... At the beginning, it felt like Toby wanted to go for a bit of a nostalgia trip. I'm repeating my words, I don't care. It felt like Toby wanted a quick nostalgia trip because this is like over halfway and it's been like 8 years since Deltarune first released. So at the time, it probably made sense. But going back, I don't think I'll enjoy it as much as I did. It's like, I didn't really enjoy the beginning of Chapter 5 when I hadn't touched Chapter 1 in forever. And I don't think I'm going to enjoy it as much. But I know I will enjoy the rest of it once we, get the platforming and whatnot in Chapter 5. Chapter 3 is going to be very interesting because, again, I got to get S rank on everything. And then I got to do the Mantle quest, which is going to be a whole can of worms. I think Chapter 3 might be the longest stream because not only is the night fight incredibly hard, even with the Shadow Mantle, but, like, the sword route minigame is going to suck. So, yeah. All the other bosses, I know what to do. I'm going to get all 19 pink coins in Chapter 5. I'm not going to screw up with the recruits in Chapter 4. I'm not going to get the Star Walker in Chapter 1 because I want to see the Ralsei address scene in at the beginning of Chapter 5. Because for those who don't know, if you get the Star Walker but then try to go see the Ralsei address scene, I mean, you see Ralsei there, but she doesn't say anything. It's just overridden by Star Walker. So, I'm not doing that. I'm just not. So, yeah. It's going to be a rough ride. My feelings on Deltarune are mixed in the later chapters, but amazing. I think it's great that I'm doing this anyways, because it allows me to see everything with a set of eyes that have, seen everything. I've seen all the stuff for the weird routes. I've seen all the secrets and whatnot. So looking at it, basically think of this as a preparation retrospective run. So yeah, we're going to see how the characters evolve over and over. And we're going to make sure that the best ending is ready. And here comes Lancer, who, honestly, I love. And I don't think that's really much of a hot take. That's more of a cold take. But what I will also say is that if Toby wanted Lancer, Lancer was amazingly used in Chapter 2. It's like he joins the party, but you forget about him, and then he actually comes in useful around the later half of Chapter 2. And then in Chapter 3, he's just sort of there. And Chapter 4 and 5 is just not much of a factor outside of Castletown. And I think that sucks, because I think it would have been neat to... I mean, yeah, Lancer speaks self-acceptance, yes. I think it would have been neat to have a Lancer moment if... Well, no. I think if a Lancer moment in every chapter was... yeah, if doing a Lancer moment in every chapter would have been a bit much. But it would have been nice to see him not so, discarded the way he was in Chapter 3, because, he was just sort of off to the side and left for jokes. And, while that's great, Lancer does have a character. He's not just this silly, goofy boy. He is a child, and I think he should play a bigger role. Because because I've seen a lot of this, but if you want to if Ralsei wants to still follow the prophecy, then find some way to make Lancer more integral to be the prince from the dark. Because he is the prince. He is a prince from the Dark World, unless it specifically means a prince created from darkness in general, which I think is what Castletown is. But otherwise, I feel like Lancer should have more of a role. Honestly, that's really what I'm saying here. Yeah. And really quick, I already love that Susie and Lancer have a dynamic, like, straight from the beginning. Because, again, Susie is technically, like, a bad guy type, and Lancer is trying to be really stereotypical bad guy here. So they immediately hit it off, and Susie tries to teach him how to be bad, but then that also sparks a genuine friendship. I don't think it's exactly because, like, they're outcasts or whatever, but just because they were able to hit it off immediately so well just because of their shared idea of being quote-unquote bad. They learn to better themselves and are better people and characters for it. Which is why I think we need more Lancer. Maybe not always, but like, I don't know. Something that isn't incredibly missable? Let's make sure that, you know, Susie doesn't absolutely thrash him. But yeah, we need more Lancer. Just a little bit more, but not too much. Alright, good. Just making sure. He's a silly boy with actual character behind it all. We need more of that. See, the sliding in, I feel like that's just a Toby charm that isn't really... Yeah, the sliding, it's just a charm that, like, I feel like isn't in the, later chapters. Okay, I'm realizing an issue. I think that's just, like, specifically with my, my small TV monitor, but, like, sometimes when stuff moves, I feel like it gets a bit blurry. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's not affecting you guys, so I'll just learn to deal with it. Alright. And I also love the narrative, like, Ralsei is the lonely prince who joins you, and at the time he, or is she, yeah, I'm gonna stick to she, is really your tutorial buddy, but just a genuine friend, too. And, like, his character is so simple, and I kinda like it. Not to say I don't like Ralsei's interpretation in the future chapters, but I like Chapter 1 Ralsei. I genuinely like... I am a firm believer of the phrase, simplicity is best. You can make something complicated and flashy, but if it's too overcomplicated, not everybody's going to enjoy it. Everybody hooked onto Ralsei because of how simple she was. And that's why I love Ralsei too. I dressed up as Ralsei for Halloween in middle school. I love the simple fluffy boy, but the complex fluffy girl that we get in the future chapters is great to see because originally Ralsei is just sort of chill. It's basically, you can separate Chapter 1 Ralsei from the rest of the game as his own, or like from the rest of the cast, from what she eventually becomes. You can plop these two in the same room. You can plop Chapter 1 Ralsei and Chapter 2 Onward Ralsei, and they can coexist. And I think that's wonderful. You don't need much to hook somebody on, and then you can build on stuff with things that people will enjoy. I think Ralsei is a great character. I just wish more people would write like this. Because you don't need some crazy backstory to hook somebody. You just need to make them likable and enjoyable. Ralsei is simple and sweet, and for me, that's what works. it's great to know that Ralsei does have some characters still, just trying to figure things out. And there are a whole conflict with trying to, like, being a little bit meta while genuinely trying to, like, I'll get to this in a second. Let me just do the tutorial. Yep. Yeah, fighting is unnecessary in this world. Ralsei lays it on thick at the beginning that you don't need to fight. And we can do things better. The whole thing with the prophecy is that even if you don't do the weird route, you just end up, like, you only do the sword, but, like, you don't just do the weird route. You're just playing this like a generic JRPG or whatever. It had, well, no. God, what was I gonna say? Basically, if you don't do the weird route, but, like, keep fighting everything, it's, yeah. Oh, God, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, Ralsei lays it on thick that we don't need to fight, because, like, even if you, like, even though if you do fight, and, like, don't recruit everybody, you are locked out of so many things. It sort of makes the world feel more barren if you don't put in the effort to be a good person. And I think that's great because it's one of the earliest like hints that Ralsei is trying to defy the prophecy. Because we find out in Chapter 4, yeah, I believe you're, yeah, in the end, how we treat them makes all the difference. Yeah, otherwise I fear that you might not find the result favorable. It's like, we'll try to do, oops, we'll try to be good and have a good ending for this world. That is the forefront of Ralsei's mind the entire time. And I think it's great. We don't even need to know much about the prophecy. We can just we just immediately realize, oh, we actually, like Chapter 1 was all about, oh, your choices don't actually matter. It's like, no, they do. And we find that out in Chapter 2. The very next chapter, which did take a while to get there. Deltarune Chapter 1, there aren't that many differences depending on what you do. Because it's the basic one, very beginning. But, no, we can do whatever and it will have an impact. Ralsei wants to defy fate as soon as we meet up, encouraging us to be good and not just, like, just hurt everybody. Because with what Ralsei said, like, even with all the stuff that gets revealed in Chapter 2, it never explicitly says what happens if, like, whether or not we fight. I think that recruiting everything will, like, whether or not you recruit everything, the final boss in Chapter 7 or whatever will culminate in one big fight. It will be roughly the same depending on what happens, minus the weird route or whatever. But if you manage to recruit everybody, it might be easier. Or at least have a better ending instead of just some sort of neutral, like, oh, yay, we won the day, and then you feel unfulfilled, but, like, we stick around, and it's just something Chris has to coexist with. No, I feel like with insert power of friendship here, we can make a better ending for everybody. Everybody, like, in the Dark World gets to live. We save the world from the Roaring. And we eventually gain our own autonomy over, instead of, like, overriding Chris's. Honestly, I know that's a bit of a simple prediction, but I genuinely think, considering the weird route is a thing and how crazy it's, like, quote-unquote breaking the game, if we make the active effort to be the best person we can be, we'll have a good ending. I really hope that the route that, like, frees us from Chris's autonomy isn't the weird route. I genuinely want to be super duper nice and help everybody and shit and have a happy ending for everybody. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is so I can make sure I have everything. all the shadow crystals to make the pure crystal. As many weapons and items as I can. And like going through everything, I'll slowly get more and more refined. With like my attacking skills and whatnot. But yeah, I just want to make sure I have all the tools necessary for the best ending once that comes around. Because every chapter feels like it just builds on the next one, and sometimes that can feel like a lot, right? Honestly, if I had any form of say, I would say work with what we have. You can make tiny improvements here and there, but what we have is great. You can experiment, sure, but don't overload it. That's just what I want. Alright, the broken cake, and then we'll go repair that eventually, and then make it the spin cake. Basically, my point is, you can add on, and add what you think, will help make the game look nicer, but it's best not to, do too much. My point is, like, it's best not to do too much. Okay? Because people are gonna get overwhelmed, and no matter how nice the game is, there's gonna be parts where people will need to, I don't know, take a step back. Ah, shiz. Ah, there we go. So don't do too much, but don't do too little? I guess? Add some new stuff to make people happy. But don't forget where you started from, and make sure to acknowledge your roots. Which I guess is what sort of happened in Chapter 5, but I think they leaned into it a bit too much, to where I feel like they were regressing a little. Alright, let's do the thing. Yep, there we go. Nope, not this way. I just want to get, like, everything I can, honestly. Nope, not you. Actually, do I fight you? Nope. Nope. Okay, let me just go down. Hey, Lancer. Do. And I like how Ralsei is genuinely, like, even interacting, like, this isn't, like, Ralsei isn't just some basic, oh, the bad guys are bad, like, we'll try and be nice to them, but I'll be a little mean to them and whatnot. Except from there. But, like, Ralsei is genuinely saying, like, hey, you could use a bit of help or, like, work. But at the same time, like, during the final boss fights, Ralsei isn't, like, at least, like, during the, chapter, during, like, the, King's Fate fight, like, Ralsei isn't above fighting, because that's sort of what we need to do. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I'll remember by the time we get there. But, like, Ralsei isn't above fighting if needed, like, with the Titan fight specifically, like, she knows that you can't really reason with a mindless monster in this case, but we were able to find a way to seal it away. There's a lot here, and it's so good, it does so much with so little, and I think that's great. Nice. Oh. Yep. There we go. Ah, Sham. Nope. Talk. Kingdom. Legendary. Alright. Let's get the sword and then a card. Spooky sword, because we're going to need that for the king fight, because we gotta attack the king. I don't have any money to give, so... Oh. Right, okay. Alright, I don't really care for this. I don't know if this has any impact, but whatever. Oh yeah, door back to the shop. Oh, yep, I loved it, yep. Love that old cat, yep. Love Sham. I think honestly my point of doing less, more with less, really is exemplified by the reason why Toby didn't give Lancer a walking sprite. He thought it would be funny. And I think that just really adds to older Deltarune charm. Merry Christmas. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I hate this attack, just generally. Oh, I guess that's what you gotta do. Alright, there we go. Rules card. I work on that and you do the puzzle. Jeez. Wow! Oh, this is adorable. Just like older Ralsei feels like a completely different character from the Ralsei we have today, and I think that's great. Let's cut to the chase and... Wait, actually, hold on. It's this. Hold on. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. There it is. First broken key piece. Ralsei was always a good person. It's good she learned to relax and be a little more kind to herself too. Exactly! Like, there wasn't any of that in the original chapters, but that's just because everything was just made to be so super simple. And there wasn't many opportunities to really realize, like, give much character to Ralsei's character. We learn more about her as we go on, and like again, right now, because of how simple she is in the beginning, again, that's why I said you could basically separate Chapter 1 Ralsei from Chapter 2 onward Ralsei. They feel like completely different characters. But I think it's great that Ross I did get some character in general. We just need more of what was done well in Chapter 1. I love all the new animations and sprites and whatnot, but sometimes you just need to make things simple. Oh, and Susie fell asleep too, I love that. Nice. I love this shit. Why are you asking me? Oh god. Yeah, what's up with the bucket? Put the blood in. Homestuck fans cower. Cower at what? I am out of the loop in Homestuck. First, geez, that's a mouthful, dude. What are enemies gonna think through? For starters, how about just the fun gang? Alright, great. Fun gang is established. There we go. Yeah, let's just do this. Yep. Hell yeah, fun gang. Yep. Ow. Ow. Yeah, great. I want to avoid using items where I can. Yeah, like we get a save point right here. Hey, it's E-Round. Hey, buddy. Normally. Legs. It crushes people to death, I think. Alright. Yep, okay, I guess we're doing this then. Deep bow. That. Let's keep doing deep bows. This feels like Toby himself in a costume. Is that just me? Oh my god, could you imagine? Deep bow. Ah. God, this thing is so cursed, I love it. And there we go. Originally, you can see this as just like, oh my god, Susie's being a villain, but at the same time, it's also Ralsei just like, this literally goes against everything that's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be one of the heroes, and this is completely shattering my expectations. So, yeah. Alright. Yeah, manual close chapter. Yeah, okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to, yeah, conserve my items and see what I can save for the jump fight, because gonna be rough. The Dark Fun Gang. Dude, we just formed our team. I love that. It's just like, hey, look, I get it. We're being the bad guys, but we also just started, so give us a break. It's good stuff. There's a thing over here. Sports, cute boys, and trees. Okay, good to know. Because I always forget this. Sports, cute boys, and trees. Yep. Nice. I wonder if we talk about this later in... I wonder if they talk about this later in Chapter 2. Maybe Ralsei admires her for this. She just ignores the prophecy. I mean... Yeah, I think she mentions this in 4, roughly, with the, with, like, her naive hope or whatever. I'll try it, yeah. Honey pot of salsa. Recovered something. But yeah, I think it's great. Like when Susie originally sees the prophecy, she's like, oh man, I'm actually like a part of something bigger, and then realizing that following the prophecy actually isn't a good idea, she just shatters it, and there's the whole it's okay not to smile scene. That happens. It's like, yeah. I like to think that Ralsei realizes that, like, Susie, like, thinks the prophecy is really cool, and with Ralsei knowing what the prophecy entails, she's just like, yeah, it is really cool, isn't it? And then just eventually comes to the realization that following the prophecy exactly is going to lead to, like, a terrible ending. And then from there, Susie realized, like, at the end of Chapter 5, like, spoilers, of course. At the end of Chapter 5, Susie realizes, yeah, this shit is getting real. Like, Officer Undyne is one thing, but Chris's dad, someone who was not only really trying to figure out Dark Worlds and whatnot, but, again,